Hello lovely people and welcome to another video. So if you are new around here, my name is Lauren. Welcome, make yourself comfortable. So today I will be talking about my June and July beauty and lifestyle favourites. I had a really busy couple of months, particularly June and July. I did 5 festivals, guys. 5. And I kind of ended up taking those 2 months off. I didn't particularly want to, it just turned out that way, especially in July where it was just like, it's too hot for me to do anything other than like sit in the garden with a Calippo. So yeah, so that's why you haven't seen my face in a while. It's actually been a really long time since I sat down and like did my setup to shoot a video. So I think it was like May the last time. So yeah, it feels weird and like I'm a bit out of practice. But anyway, let's get into today's video. Like I said, it's favourites video. Before we get into it, I just want to say I actually can't remember because it's been so long since I last filmed what like my previous favourites were. So if I do end up repeating myself in this video, I am really sorry. And again, just want to point out my hair. It is not one side shorter than the other. It's very much one side is tighter than the other at the moment. I don't know why. I've never had it like this before. But yeah, so this side just looks much thinner and shorter than the other when it's not. Anyway, point Lauren, get to it. Let's get into the video. The first thing I want to talk to you about is the Garnier Ultimate Blends hair masks, and I've got 2 here. I've got the banana one, which is for dry hair, and the papaya one, which is for damaged hair. I also have the coconut and macadamia one, which is for frizziness, which again is a concern for me. I have very curly hair. This is my natural hair. But these 2 are better. Basically, I use these every day. They are a multi-purpose mask, so you can use them as conditioner, you can use them as a leave-in conditioner, and you can use them as an actual mask, leave them in for 3 minutes after you wash your hair. And they are amazing. I genuinely use them both every day, not together. I either use this on days when my hair is feeling really dry in that cluster, and this on the days when it really needs some TLC, which is most days. Out of the 2 of them, I tend to use this one more because it smells nicer in my opinion, although they both smell amazing. This smells like banana Nesquik. And also because my hair is so damaged, dryness is just one of the problems. My hair is so damaged and it's all self-inflicted damage. It's colour treated, it's heat treated. Yeah, so this one is, I think, personally better for my hair's needs. However, I use them both a lot, all the time actually. This I tend to use more as a leave-in mask in the shower because dryness is sort of the symptom for the damage. I'm not really articulating myself very well. This is the 2nd attempt I've taken at this clip and both times I'm just like bleh. But yeah, they're just amazing. It's a vegan and 98% biodegradable formula. It's silicone free and it's plant-based as well, and that is for this one too. So they're really good for your hair and they're really good for the environment, so I would strongly recommend both. I always get a bit like blur when I haven't recorded in a while, and whilst I've vlogged all of my adventures this summer, there was loads, like I said, 5 festivals, one of them was in Paris, had the best time. I've vlogged all of it, they will be coming soon. But when I haven't done a sit down video, I tend to just like bleh, like verbal diarrhea and just keep talking and talking. So I've just shot my first clip, which you would have seen, and yeah, just so annoying. Anyway, my next favourite is the number 7 Protect and Perfect Intense Advanced Facial Sun Protection. I've been using this for a couple of years. My actual favourite sunscreen is the Body Shop one. I can't remember what it's called, but that's my favourite. But where I live no longer has a Body Shop, so I can't really get it as easily. I could order it online, but then that's effort and then I always have to remember. Anyway, this is really good. It's got a much thicker formula than the Body Shop one, which is more serum like in texture, but this is brilliant. It's got UVA and UVB protection and it's SPF 50. So I've been out all summer. You can see I have a suntan. You can see I actually look quite red in the camera, but my face not burnt at all. This is really good. Big fan of this. So it's also ridiculously affordable, especially with the number 7 vouchers that Boots do all the time. I think it's like £11. I can't really remember, but yeah, this is brilliant. I like this a lot. My next favourite, please forgive me if I've talked about this before because I feel like I have. This is the Elemis Superfood Vital Veggie Mask. Now, I've talked about the Vital Veggie range from Elemis so much. I dedicated a video to it. They've been mentioned in my favourites a lot, and that is because I genuinely love the range. but this is my favourite out of the whole lineup. Now originally I thought it was the Berry Blast Superfood Mask, which is amazing, it's really, really good, but this one is incredible. It just, my skin really, really agrees with it. As you can see, I'm having some breakouts at the moment, and this is just amazing. It gets rid of dead skin, it exfoliates, it's got fruit acids in it, so that it which basically eats the dead skin but leaves your complexion brighter, and I just absolutely adore it. So my next favourite is the Sothys eyeshadow pencil. Now I've actually used this so much, I don't know if you can see, it's not focusing. Yeah, no, it's not going to do it. But basically the name has wore off, so I can't actually see what the exact product is called or what the shade is, but it's this beautiful grey mink colour. I've actually got it on today, you can see. Now if you've been following me for a while, you will know that I am not a morning person at all. So anything I can do to sort of make getting up and getting ready in the morning easier for myself, I tend to do it, and that includes occasionally, most days, putting my makeup on the bus. And this is incredible for that, because literally you just twist it up, smudge it on, blend it in, and you're done, and it stays in place all day, and it is waterproof, it's sweat proof, it just lasts really, really well. And this particular colour, and this was sent to me, this was gifted, is so pretty, and it just makes my eyes look really blue, which I like. On to my next favourite, which is the MAC In Dimension, is it? No, In Extreme Dimension 3D Waterproof Mascara. Now this is an oldie but a goodie. This is my absolute favourite mascara of all time, and I'm not wearing it today, but I have completely fallen back in love, particularly with the waterproof formulation. Now I have got this, I've got like 4 or 5 of these floating around. I should probably have a good sort out and throw the out-of-date ones away, but because of how hot it's been sort of mid to late 30s here for over a couple of days. It's very sweaty today, I'm not sure what the temperature is, but it's been hot, especially for the UK, and I am not a summer person. Autumn is my jam, just need to get through August now. Anyway, off point. Because of how sweaty it is, I've been really having to think about what makeup I'm wearing, and obviously I want things to stay in place, and this has been the one for that. Once it goes on, it is on. It doesn't flake, it doesn't smudge, it doesn't clump, it doesn't do any of those horrible things. It's just a brilliant, brilliant mascara. I only have one more beauty favourite left. It's kind of a joint beauty favourite, and that is the Ruby Woo MAC lipstick and lip liner. Now I love a bold lip, as a lot of you will know. Red lipstick is my jam. I love it. And usually when it comes to lipstick, I favour Kat Von D Everlasting liquid lipsticks because they just stay in place. In fact, this is one, I think this is called Madrid, could be wrong. I'm gonna have to look into that because it's gonna annoy me. Anyway, I'll get back to that. This is my favourite red lipstick of all time, because the Kat Von D one, I don't know if it's something to do with the pigmentation, I think it is, just doesn't stay in place the same way. This has got a really powdery, really dry texture, and you almost have to like drag it on, but the colour payoff is amazing, but it stays in place all day. Like you don't need lip coat with this. I use lip coat as a standard because I wear a lot of lipstick and I don't want it to go everywhere, and also I'm paying a lot of money for this lipstick. I don't want to keep leaving it on things. But this, you almost don't need that. It just stays on all day. It's incredibly long lasting. The colour is absolutely beautiful, a very beautiful true red. And when used with this, it just gives you the most beautiful defined, like Hollywood classic red lips. I actually wore this the whole time I was in Paris, apart from maybe once, and I felt very chic and Parisian in it. It's just absolutely beautiful. Mine is actually on the wonk. I don't know if you can see, because when I first got it I dropped it and it just biffed it, but still applies the same. It's amazing. So now let's move on to the lifestyle favourites, of which there are many, but the first one I want to talk to you about is the band Frightened Rabbit. Now that's not the right one, this one. So sort of over the past couple of months I have completely fallen in love with this band. The music they make, or made because they're not really a band anymore, were just amazing. Beautiful, beautiful music, heartbreaking, relatable, gorgeous. Now I had heard of Frightened Rabbit, but not really. I heard of them when the lead singer Scott Hutchison died by suicide last year, and I remember how sad I felt. I remember that all of the Twitter social media appeals for information when he disappeared, and I remember how really sad that made me, and how very briefly I felt that sadness because I hadn't connected to their music at all. And then I heard this album, which is Tiny Changes, which I'll get to in a minute, and Biffy Clyro, obviously, because I love them, you know this, they did a cover of the song Modern Leper for that album, and that's how I came to Frightened Rabbit. And I have just completely and utterly fallen in love with their music, and I'm so sad, and I'm really annoyed at myself that I didn't appreciate them sooner. Sort of, I wish I'd known about them when Scott Hutchison was alive, but you know, I can't change anything. But in particular, these two albums. So this is Painting of a Panic Attack. This is one of their second albums. Just ignore that, that's my phone. And this is the Midnight Organ Fight, which is the album that it's their second album, but it's the one that kind of catapulted them to fame. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's amazing. Like, there are so many good songs on this, and their kind of sound is very sort of folk rock, like a non-pretentious Mumford & Sons. I'm going to get so much shit for saying that, but I stand by it. They're significantly better than Mumford & Sons, but it's that kind of sort of folky acoustic sound. They are fucking brilliant, and I'm not sorry for dropping the F-bomb. They are amazing. So this in particular, The Modern Leper, is my favourite song on here. It's amazing. I can understand that feeling of feeling so broken that you can't understand why people love you, and that's completely what that song is about. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've been trying to learn it on guitar. I've learned a really bad version of it. It's an amazing song. Other highlights include The Twist, which again, beautiful, funny. I don't understand how music can be funny, but it is, in that it's about he's lonely and she's lonely, and they don't care who the other person is, they just need another person to be there, and that's what The Twist is about. It's heartbreaking, but there's a funniness to it, and it's so fucking relatable. And like, there's so many on here. Old Fashioned is a lovely song. Fast Blood, I'm gonna name all of them. Head Rolls Off, I was gonna say Heads Roll Off. Head Rolls Off is a great song. It's beautiful. It's just, it's a really wonderful album. And so is Painting of a Panic Attack. You can see I'm a big fan. I've bought them on vinyl. You know how that works. If I like something, it goes on vinyl. This again is a very heartbreaking album. This is maybe sadder than Midnight Organ Fight, in that he was obviously going through some very serious and very awful things at the time this was written. It's beautiful. Highlights from this include Death Dream, which I've listened to repeatedly. There is a beautiful recording of it from the Key Sessions at the BBC. I think this is from about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe less. That is stunning. It's beautiful, and that's actually how I came across this album. I Wish I Was Sober, Woke Up Hurting, Still Want to Be Here, An Otherwise Disappointing Life, Blood Under the Bridge. It's a beautiful album. It's so beautiful. These are, it only happens with a couple of bands, and actually I've only known this for personally to happen with one band, which is Biffy Clyro. When you hear these heartbreaking lyrics and these beautiful songs, and you just relate so deeply, and it's like falling in love. It's the only thing I can explain it and compare it to. And this is gorgeous. This is very gorgeous. So on a related note, let's talk about Tiny Changes. So Tiny Changes is a covers album. It is the Midnight Organ Fight in full, covered by peers of Frightened Rabbit. So Biffy Clyro is on here. Their version of Modern Leper is gorgeous. We've got Lauren Mabry from Churches. We've got The Twilight, Sad. That was what I was looking at. I was going Piano Bar Fight. This is just amazing. So this is the album that sort of introduced me to Frightened Rabbit, and I absolutely love it. It is amazing. Now, Scott Hutchison was still involved in the production of this. Basically, it's to celebrate, I think it's the 10-year anniversary of the Midnight Organ Fight, and it's so good. Again, my highlights from this are going to be the same from my highlights from Midnight Organ Fight, Modern Leper, Fast Blood, Old Fashioned. The Modern Leper's actually on here twice. It was covered by Biffy. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cover. And Julianne Baker, who is an American singer, and again, stunning. It's just a beautiful song. There was another one there's loads of people on here. Sarah Silverman's on here. And Floating in the Fourth. Floating in the Fourth is a very, very sad song. Even sadder when you consider the circumstances in which Scott Hutchison died. And the Twilight Sad, who were a very close friend to the band, have covered it, and they covered it, and I've read interviews, because if I like something I will do a lot of research into it. And this there was an interview when they said basically they had to cover it, they had to be the ones to cover it, it could not be on the album because it's such a big part of the album, but none of them want to hear it again because it's heartbreaking. But yeah, this is an amazing album, and proceeds of it from it, I'm not sure of the percentage, but proceeds of this album are going to the Tiny Changes Foundation, which is the charity they set up to commemorate Scott Hutchison, and it deals with mental health and things like that. So yeah, it's a really amazing album, and it does a lot of good in the world, I think. So definitely check that out if you like music, if you like Frightened Rabbit, if you like Biffy Clyro, if you like any of the people featured. Aaron what's-his-face from the Aaron Dessner from the National's on here, and I love the National. Again, very sad band. So I have read so many books lately, and it's been amazing, but the first book I want to talk to you about is Delicious by Ruth Reichl, I think it said. Now I think Ruth Reichl is a very famous food critic. I can't remember what food magazine she works for, but basically Delicious is about Billy, who starts working at, I want to say Bon Appetit magazine, but I actually think it's the magazine itself is called Delicious, and it's based on Bon Appetit. I could be wrong. I read this about 3-4 weeks ago, and it's just, I've read so much since then, it's like whoosh. I've read this before as well. I read this about 3-4 years ago, and it's just such a good book. It's an excellent piece of what I am calling food fiction. And I've written about this on my blog recently, but basically where it's a fictional story, usually it follows a woman, and big life changes and things, but food plays a starring role alongside the story, and you kind of read it as much for the food descriptions as you do for anything else. But this is a brilliant read. I actually read this on my way to and then on my way back from the Isle of Wight, and it's such a good read. It's such a good read. It's like when you have, weirdly, I'm going to have to compare this to food because it's the only way I can describe it properly, but it's like having a really amazing piece of cake, and you come into the end of it and you want to savour it, so you're having like crumb by crumb because it's so delicious, and you want to wolf it, but you know that if you do you'll regret it, so you savour it. That's what this writing is like. It is gorgeous and delicious, and you ingest it crumb by crumb because you want to fully appreciate it. So definitely check this out because it's so brilliant. My next favourite book from the last couple of months is Our Stop by Laura Jane Williams. Now I love Laura Jane Williams. I've been a big fan of hers for the past couple of years. I actually did her writing course last year. It was brilliant. If you're thinking about doing it, do it. If registration is still open. Anyway, I've gotten completely off topic. Our Stop is a really great romantic comedy, and basically it's about Nadia and Daniel, who get the same train, same tube into work every day, and they've never actually met until one day Daniel leaves an ad in the Missed Connections, part of the local paper, which I think is meant to be like the Standard or the Evening Standard, the Metro, one of those two. Anyway, he leaves an ad in the Missed Connections, and it's aimed at her, and that's how they start communicating, and it's just so lovely. It's such a good book. It's funny, it's sweet, it's incredibly romantic, and it's just so very easy to read. I absolutely loved it. Read it in a couple of days. It's kind of like a very sort of, I can't think of what I'm trying to say, but if you've read The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary, it's very similar. It's just a very clever, very funny, very sweet, very heartwarming, lovely, lovely story. And it's so annoying because it's told from, each chapter is told from a different point of view, and you can literally see how they keep missing each other, and it's like, no, just be together. Please be together. And no spoilers, but I loved it. It's so good. So definitely check that out. If you're going away, it'd be a great one to read by a pool or on a beach or whilst travelling to these places, because, you know, it's about public transport. Anyway, I'm rambling. So my next book favourite I've definitely talked about on my blog, which may or may not have been out already. If it is, I'll link it below. But this is The Woman Who Wanted More by Vicky Zimmerman. Now, I've been reading Vicky Zimmerman's work for years without realising it, because until recently, until now, she was writing under the pseudonym Stella Newman, and I adore Stella Newman books. I've read all of them. They are so easy to read, they are ridiculously enjoyable, and they all have a very similar formula without being formulaic, and that's really important. In that they follow a woman in her sort of mid to late 30s, early 40s maybe, and she's going through either a massive career crisis or a romantic crisis, and this kind of prompts maybe a bit of a breakdown, but ultimately it puts her on the right path to her happy ending. It's so good. Now, I've reduced that right down and made it sound shit. It's not. Her, like, Newman / Zimmerman's work is not shit. It is brilliant. Again, it's food fiction, which, if it isn't a thing, it should be, and I have invented it. Anyway, in the food plays a starring role. These women are always foodies. The Woman Who Wanted More is about Kate, who is about to turn 40 and is away with her boyfriend Nick, who is an absolute twat, and he decides that he doesn't want to move in with her anymore, and he wants a break, and he completely leaves her dangling on a string and does this while they're on holiday. So he ruins their holiday because Nick is a twat. Anyway, they get home, she moves out of his flat and moves into her mum's house, and to kind of save herself from going crazy, sorry, I thought I saw a spider, didn't, she starts volunteering at a remarkable old ladies nursing home. Yeah, and meets Cicely, who is a very bored and very bitter 97-year-old who is a complete old bitch, but you absolutely adore her because she is fabulous, and they kind of strike up this unlikely friendship and bring each other back to life, and it's brilliant. I really enjoyed it. Read it in a day. Again, perfect holiday read. So good. The next thing I want to talk about is swimming. Now, me and my cousin Nicola have been going swimming for about a month and a half now. I know we both have had a week off because we were both on holiday, but yeah, we've been swimming like 5 days a week. I've been today for about 6 weeks, and it is just amazing. We go together most times, but when the other can't, we do go separately. But it's like, when we go together, it is like proper therapy, where we just swim up and down for 45 minutes and just talk about life, and it is great. And then we both get out, we both feel so much better for swimming, and it's brilliant. So I never thought I'd be saying this, because whilst I enjoy exercise and I like going to the gym, swimming, because I can't listen to music and I can't listen to a podcast or read, I can't distract myself from myself, if you know what I mean. So I have to be present, and I think that's what I like about it, is the fact that it takes you completely outside of your head and places you firmly in your body. And that is a wanky thing to say, but let me explain. I live very much inside my head. I am a fantasist. I am obsessive. I have OCD. Everything happens inside my head before it actually happens. I've already imagined the outcomes about 15 times over. So to get to a situation where I am completely quieting my brain and just swimming, and even when my cousin's there, because we're talking, but we're not like inside our brains, if you know what I mean. It's just very like organic, like natural chat. It's amazing for that. It's like meditation. And I am not good at meditation, because I know you're supposed to let the thoughts go past you, like you're by the side of the road and they're in cars. Never met a thought I haven't got a car in the car with. So, you know, I buy into it, but I know that I struggle with it. Anyway, swimming has been a godsend. Have a really ugly swimming costume. It's just plain black. We'll be changing that soon, but I really have been enjoying swimming. So who knew? Guys, how have I not talked about this already? How have I not talked about Stranger Things 3 already? I'm so excited. I've just hit my tripod and thrown my camera back. Stranger Things 3. Oh my god. How good was Stranger Things 3? The day it came out, I was actually really poorly. I wasn't really poorly, but my eyes had puffed up. I had a really bad reaction to hay fever and I really didn't feel very well. I had a nasty headache, had a scratchy throat, my eyes had come up. I actually have a video coming up from where I went to Slam Dunk, and you can see how bad my hay fever is in that, because my eyes literally puffed up and they were like that, because it's the bottom of my eyes as well. Anyway, so I ended up having the day off work and I just literally binged the whole season in a day, and I have not been able to binge watch things in a while. It was so good, so good. Absolutely loved it. I loved that they kind of made Elle and Mike insufferable a little bit, and then I hated it because I was like, Elle's such a good character, like why is she just all about her boyfriend? And then obviously things changed. I absolutely love the new characters. Erica is a sassy, amazing little girl and I love her. Oh my god, what is her name? She is played by Maya Hawke. Robin. Loved her, absolutely loved her. Loved her and Steve's story. I just absolutely adored it. It is the best TV show. Now, Stranger Things is my favourite show anyway. It's the only thing that I've ever been able to binge watch in the, well, not ever, because I used to binge watch stuff all the time, but long story short, when I was at uni, basically broke my concentration from having to focus on like essays and stuff for a long period of time. And after that, my concentration was like, I can do 15 minutes and that's it. So I spent most of like the last couple of years watching The Simpsons and like Rick and Morty, and then Stranger Things came out and I just absolutely fell in love with it. It's amazing. It's the best TV show. Absolutely loved it. Now I have to wait for season 4, but I am rewatching all 3 series just because I love it so much. It's so good. It's so good. So we finally come to my final favourite, and if you have stuck with me this long, I am so grateful, because there are only a few videos that I would watch that'd be this long. It'd be like the Try Guys when Keith eats the menu, which I fucking love. I've watched like 4 of those today, and like stuff like that. It really annoys me that my videos keep getting longer and longer and longer because I'm a rambler. Anyway, I'll get to the point. This is why my videos are so long. My final favourite is an app. It is an app called Reflectly. Now, this is not really showing you, this is sort of the interface of the app, but Reflectly is basically a journaling app. So you go in every day, you get 1 story a day, you get more if you pay for it. Now, I'm gonna see how I go, because you can't really pay for it monthly. You have to do it as a yearly subscription, and that is like 45 quid. Now, that's not a lot of money in the scheme of things, but it's a lot to pay out in one hit. So I'm going to trial it. I've been using it for 3 weeks. I absolutely love it, and then I will decide if it's going to be something I pay for. But I love it. Basically, once a day you go in and you have a story, and it gives you prompts. So it asks how you felt today, what you did today. Do you want to elaborate? You don't have to write things every day. And I really enjoy it. So it gives me sort of 15 minutes at the end of the day where I just look back over my day. And what it's made me realise already is that on days when I think I've had a really fucking horrible day, and like, sorry for swearing, but like some days I'll come home and I'll be like, well, that was hideous. And then it makes me think about my day, and then I'll be like, well, what made it hideous? What made it hideous? What were the things that were wrong with it? And then you look back at it and you think, actually, today was fine. It was my attitude to today that wasn't. So it's really good in that it makes me reflect on how I'm behaving, on how I'm reacting to these situations. And it's really good at sort of making sure you have a better day the next day. So I've really enjoyed it. I've been using it for 2 weeks, and like, it's just sort of like, I did a load when I was in Paris. You can add pictures, you can make notes. So like an example of some of the questions is, what's the craziest thing you've ever done? And what are your daily notes? You can, like I said, you can add images. You've got about 1,500 characters to sort of elaborate on your day. And you get to not rank your day, but it'll be like, how was your day? And you could be like, completely okay, terrible, amazing, whatever. Most of mine have been completely okay, because they have been. And then it'll be like, how did you feel today? What made today okay? And I just think it's brilliant, because it makes you really think about everything, and you can, by the end of it, I'll be like, well, I thought today was shit, but actually thinking about today was fine. And it's not shit, and it kind of makes you appreciate things a bit more. So in all honesty, I'm probably going to buy the full app. I really, really enjoy doing it, but I do know I could achieve the same outcome just by keeping a diary, but I'm really bad at keeping a diary on and off again, whereas this gives me reminders every day. So that's where it has the advantage. The one thing I will say I don't like is that I'm feeding all this information into an app. Yeah, it's a great app and I really like it, but then I'm giving them information about me, I'm telling them about my day. I don't know, it kind of feels a bit like data hacky, GDPR maybe. Anyway, that's a really negative spin on it. I really like the app. If you like journaling, if you are a writer, if you have feelings, maybe just download it. See for yourself. So this has been a very long and rambly video, and I'm sorry, but thank you for sticking with me to the very end. It has been, in my defense, 2 months worth of favourites. I have explained in my other videos, but if you haven't seen those, I will link stuff below. But basically, at the end of March, my laptop started playing up not my laptop, my iMovie started playing up so that it wouldn't export videos, it would delete things. Partly it was my fault because I kept trying to free up room on my laptop and then was deleting the wrong render files, and then I was causing the problems, and sometimes it just wasn't working. So the last 3 or 4 videos, it has been a real issue trying to get them online because I can't get them out of my iMovie. However, I seem to have resolved that for now, so we are back to business as usual. Thursdays and occasional bonus videos on Sundays. I don't actually have an upload time, a set one, but I think I'm going for 6:30. So Thursdays, 6:30 PM UK time, be there or be square. If you're here, you'll probably be both because I'm a huge square. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, ring that bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.